morning, this is World News coming to you live from Warsaw. I'm Salia Stremska. Following a high-level meeting in Russia on April 11, where Donald Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff met with Russian President Vladimir Putin, Trump spoke to the press about the Air Force One. When asked about the status of the negotiations, Trump indicated that the talks were progressing, but emphasized that he expects Russia to accelerate its efforts. Trump said, quote, "There's a point at which you have to either put up or shut up." This comes 1 month after Ukraine agreed to a 30-day ceasefire in the US-mediated talks in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Throughout this period, Russia continued to launch attacks on Ukrainian cities. Some critics argue that Moscow is stalling with no real intention of ending the conflict, especially as its forces continue to make advances on the ground. While Trump has previously criticized Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and his leadership, he's also voiced growing frustration with Russia in recent weeks. In a social media post on April 11th, Trump said Russia has to get moving.
So we're going to the fight, and we have lots of fights going around the world. And I think we have a lot of good news coming soon about some of those fights. And we'll see how it goes. But it's been an interesting weekend. I think we have some pretty good news coming on some of the conflicts. There are other talks going on. I think Ukraine and Russia might be going okay. And you're going to be finding out pretty soon. You know, there's a point at which you just have to either put up or shut up, and we'll see what happens. But I think it's going fine.
Ukraine won't agree to any long-term peace agreements with Russia if it means losing territory, said Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andrii Sybiha at the Antalya Diplomacy Forum in Turkey on Saturday. The event was also attended by Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov in a rare case of the two officials being present together at the same venue.
It is indeed a rare occurrence for Russian and Ukrainian foreign ministers to be in the same building at the same time. But here we are, the second day of the Antalya Diplomacy Forum in Turkey, and Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andrii Sybiha had a discussion panel right here. And only an hour later, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov delivered his own speech. The two officials came here to gather support for their causes. It is, of course, all happening in the backdrop of the Russian invasion of Ukraine and the push for peace from the United States and President Donald Trump. Ukrainian Foreign Minister came out swinging and not only criticized indirectly US President Donald Trump for taking off NATO membership for Ukraine during the peace negotiations, but also said that Ukraine will not agree to any concessions of territory in the long-term peace agreement.
Ukraine will never accept any initiative, any formula at the cost of our territorial integrity and sovereignty and security. And here with us, Mustafa Aga. I would like to applaud. He is a true symbol of resilience and resistance. Crimea is Ukraine.
This statement by the Ukrainian Foreign Minister is not related to the agreement from Kyiv for the immediate ceasefire proposed by the United States earlier last month, to which, of course, Russia has not agreed yet. While the two ministers are here to gather support, the war unfortunately continues. From Antalya Diplomacy Forum, Kazimierz Łysiak, TVP World.
26-year-old Ukrainian pilot Pavlo Ivanov was killed during a combat mission in an F-16 fighter jet. Our correspondent in Ukraine, Oskar Sergei, has more.
The Ukrainian government has launched an interdepartmental investigation following the death of one of its F-16 pilots flying a combat mission over Ukraine on Saturday. Pavlo Ivanov, 26 years old, was awarded the Hero of Ukraine medal posthumously on Saturday following his death, with President Zelensky offering his condolences, saying he awarded him for his personal courage and heroism, and he has vowed a strong and precise response to the incident. Now, it's unclear what the incident was that led to his death, but the Ukrainian government has launched launched this inquiry into the situation. Now, this will come as a particular blow to the Ukrainian Air Force, who don't have many of these F-16s in their arsenal. They were only given a few by the United States and European partner countries. Now, the Ukrainian government hasn't disclosed the official number of working F-16s they have in their arsenal. However, losing one will come as a big blow. It won't come as big a blow as losing one of their F-16 pilots, though. That will be a particularly dark day for the Ukrainian Air Force. They posted a statement on Saturday saying Ukrainian pilots are working to the fullest extent of their human and technical capabilities, risking their lives every time they carry out a combat mission. Pavlo was one of them. It's Oz Kataji reporting from Lviv for TVP World.
A number of NATO units held a multinational exercise in Croatia. Aimed at bolstering air defense capabilities, Operation Shield involves live-fire exercises and joint target acquisition. Troops from the United States, Croatia, Slovenia, France and the UK participated in the exercise held annually near the Adriatic Sea. Among them was the 173rd Airborne US Army Brigade, deployed in Germany and Italy. Poland took part in the Operation Shield last year, where the Polish army showcased its short-range anti-air capabilities using Piorun missiles and the Pilica very short-range defense system. EU Economy Commissioner Valdis Dombrovskis has said that the European Commission is putting forth two programs directed at facilitating investments in the defense industry for member states. This comes on top of the Rearm Europe plan, which aims to unlock €800 billion in defense spending.
We have proposed the coordinated activation of the National Escape Clause in Stability and Growth Pact. This will facilitate rapid increase in defense spending by allowing member states to temporarily deviate from normal fiscal requirements. The element we presented was the new €150 billion loan instrument, Security Action for Europe, or SAFE. This will provide loans to member states to invest in key defense areas like ammunition, missiles, drones, and cybersecurity. The funds will be raised on capital markets and disbursed to interested member states upon demand based on their national plans.
Ukraine claims that the concrete confinement built around the Chernobyl nuclear reactor needs to be repaired. It was damaged in a Russian drone attack last February. Ukraine says a Russian drone struck the shelter of the destroyed power unit at the plant on February 14th. Causing a fire and leaving a hole in the modern confinement. The confinement is built on top of the Soviet-era concrete sarcophagus. It is meant to keep radiation still emanating from the destroyed reactor from leaking into the environment. Chernobyl was the site of the world's worst civil nuclear catastrophe when one of its 4 reactors exploded in 1986. Estimates indicate that the site will remain radioactive for hundreds or even thousands of years. Protests in Serbia continue into their 6th month, with students gathering in the town of Novi Pazar in the southwest of the country. The protesters arrived on foot or by bicycle, with some traveling over 200 kilometers. The protests were sparked last November when a newly renovated canopy at the Novi Sad railway station collapsed, killing 16. The protests have since grown into a wider movement against the government of President Aleksandar Vučić. His supporters have organized a counter-demonstration in the Serbian capital, Belgrade. Following several outbreaks of foot and mouth disease in Hungary, Slovakia and Germany, Romania is stepping up its veterinary health protection measures. Romanian animal protection associations have asked the authorities to take urgent additional measures to prevent the disease from spreading across the country.
We've imposed new restrictions. For a couple of weeks, we've had some restrictions on farm entrances. At least at my place, no more uninfected cars, no more people, absolutely nothing. We need to stop the uncontrolled transport of animals. We need to reduce the access from Hungary to Romania of all animal transports, the transport of raw milk, and of course, to start a vaccination strategy. The animal is affected by the appearance of canker sores in the oral cavity or blisters on the soft epithelium, especially in the nipple area. The animal is affected because it cannot eat. The calf or the piglet or the mare cannot suckle. There is also a fulminant evolution in young animals that can die. But in large animals, if the disease is not complicated by other viruses, they survive.
And then moving to France, 30 NGOs and trade unions rallied in Paris. The protesters voiced concern at what they perceive as attacks on the rule of law in the country. The demonstration is a direct countermeasure to right-wing outrage after the recent conviction of several leaders of the far-right National Rally Party. One of them is Marine Le Pen. The presidential hopeful has been barred from holding public office. Over the last weeks, far-right figureheads have heavily criticized the judicial system and individual judges. Saturday's protests, however, claim such rhetoric will undermine justice in the country. And now on a domestic note, on Saturday, the Polish capital saw a march to mark 1,000 years of the Kingdom of Poland, with a number of right-wing politicians taking part in the event. And yet, for many Poles gathered in Warsaw, the parade was an opportunity to just celebrate long Polish history and abandoned heritage. Piotr Miszczuk reports.
More than 1,000 pairs have danced today the Polonaise. This is the most typical Polish dance, usually danced at formal occasions such as proms. But this event was to mark 1,000 years since the first coronation of a Polish king. So since the beginning of the Kingdom of Poland, people from all around the country came to Warsaw to take part in this event.
I'm attracting attention with my beautiful traditional Polish outfit. I have dressed up for this celebration. After all, such a Millennium Polonaise happens once in 1,000 years. So I'm very happy to be here to take part in this unique event. And I tell everyone that one day I will tell my grandchildren that I was here and danced in the Polonaise of the Millennium.
But apart from the Polonaise that so many people took part in, this event is also about the march. Thousands of people have come to the city center of Warsaw, some of them to show their patriotic values, others to show support for the largest opposition grouping, the Law and Justice Party.
Few countries can boast a 1,000-year kingdom tradition, right? So it's primarily about that, but also a big coming together of right-wing circles. This is a political event, very important, especially now in the ongoing campaign.
This has truly been a political event. We saw many politicians from the Law and Justice Party, the largest grouping of the opposition. One of them was Karol Nawrocki, the presidential candidate backed by the Law and Justice Party. He delivered a speech to the crowd. This event might be considered success for the Law and Justice Party, but next month we will see a response from the Civic Coalition. This is the largest grouping of the government, and they will have their own march on the 25th of May. For TVP World from Warsaw, I'm Piotr Miszczuk.
These are small but mighty warriors, the European hamsters. Yet they remain critically endangered. The reason? Climate change. As winters become warmer and warmer, hamsters clear their food supplies before the arrival of spring. Here's a report.
Did you know? Poland is home to one of the fiercest little warriors in the animal kingdom. It's the European hamster, and believe it or not, it's critically endangered.
Climate change is having a fundamental impact. This is a hibernating species. It sleeps during the winter, and when we have warm winters, it wakes up more often. Naturally, it uses up its food stores too frequently, which means that in the spring, it no longer has anything to eat, and there's nothing of value to be found in the fields yet.
And yet, this tiny creature plays a big role in our ecosystem.
Protecting the European hamster is a step toward enriching and preserving biodiversity. The loss or elimination of any organism in such an ecosystem leads to a spiral of extinction because all elements of the ecosystem are very closely interconnected. So I think it should especially matter to humans because scientists have found that the more diverse the environment, the healthier people will be, and so will their future. Yes, their future.
Climate change and extreme weather events are becoming increasingly costly, with losses in the EU totaling over 163 billion euros between 2021 and 2023, according to a CBRE report. Poland is home to a rich variety of ecosystems, but these friendly rodents are often treated as pests. So, in honor of World Hamster Day, do be kind to these little creatures, or as we call them in Polish, chomik.
And that's it for our news bulletin. World Talks coming up next. We're going to discuss the latest on Ukraine.